This is a massive development and can transform global arms market. Here you can see article of American media that whatever captured US Javelin and Stinger weapons Russia has. They are sending these weapons from Ukraine to Iran. There is a team of Russian scientists, Russian defense experts, Iranian manufacturers. And now what they will do is reverse engineer US weapons and make a cheaper version of it for the whole world. Think about it yourself, how good is the alertness of mind? Many times there will be problems and challenges. If we look at Russia's perspective, the joint operation in Ukraine is not able to move forward. Because US and other Western countries are giving billions of dollars worth of weapons to Ukraine. But there is an opportunity in this challenge that Russia can get access to these weapons directly. And now this is happening, Russia will reverse engineer these high-tech weapons with Iran. And tomorrow is not a big deal. In the long term, India can also purchase reverse engineered weapons. Because as you know, American weapons have premium in price. America sells its weapons 70 to 80% more expensive than Russian weapons. So this is a big development in itself. But before moving forward, I will ask you a question. Recently, India has signed a memorandum of understanding with a country on semiconductor supply chain. Here is your option: Japan, France, Australia, or USA. Answer in the comments section. I will give you the correct answer at the end of the video. Now, how does reverse engineering work? You will know the basics about it. That you have a weapon, it can be anything. Fighter jet, a rifle, tank, perhaps even a helmet. You can reverse engineer anything and get the technology to make it. Then you can make that weapon according to your needs. And China has achieved excellence in this work. China has made its own weapons by reverse engineering many American weapons over the years. And China has been able to do all this because in the 1960s, the Chinese government started a secret operation. It is called a national mission, under which China first started the reverse engineering of the USSR weapons. And this process has a name in Chinese language, Mandarin language. It is called Gochunhua, which means Chinese reverse engineering. They have accepted in their culture, in their defense manufacturing part, that we cannot innovate, we will not be able to make new things in the starting. We will have to learn the basics by reverse engineering. We will have to develop our scientists, we will have to develop the version of DRDO. Only then it is possible that we can innovate in the future. So the way China came in the 1960s, think about it. How many visionary leaders they must have met who understood this in the 1960s? That now let's start this work. In 2022, the future generation will get the fruit of this tree. And let me tell you, in great countries, this is the process. One generation plants a tree so that the future generation gets the fruit. We will have to understand this in India too. Only then in the future we will be able to achieve a lot in the field of defense. So the way China's reverse engineering process happened. You will not find any reverse engineering process in India. DRDO has always kept the policy that we will innovate, make new technology. We will create everything ourselves. But unfortunately, we have not been able to make a fighter jet engine in India. And one interesting thing here is that Iran is a country that has become an expert in the reverse engineering of American weapons over the years. Now here you will have to understand that Iran had to do this, they did not have any option. Iran cannot purchase Israeli or US weapons like India. They do not have foreign currency like India, they do not have the opportunity to export. This country was always under pressure and sanctions. So for them it was a necessity that we have to reverse engineer and make weapons. And many times necessity is the mother of all invention. When you are under pressure, you find a solution on your own. And that is why Iran became an expert in reverse engineering, especially the reverse engineering of US weapons. Now, what did Russia do here? Whatever American weapons they are getting in Ukraine. Suppose there was a small-scale battle somewhere. The Ukrainian soldiers ran away, the American weapons that were left behind. These weapons are giving to Iran. And Iran is reversing engineering these weapons. Is preparing a cheaper version with Russian defense experts. And very soon Iran and Russia will prepare a cheap alternative for these weapons, especially Javelin weapons, which many African countries and Asian countries can purchase. And if you are thinking that will it impact the USA, then yes it will. Russia has a theory about the USA. The Russian government believes that the US is supplying weapons to Ukraine, so that it can show the world how much Javelin and Stinger weapons are capable, and how much damage it can do to the Russian military. They have shown this, and now the demand for Javelin and Stinger missiles is increasing. But the problem is that these weapons systems are millions of dollars and they are very expensive. So what Russia says is that they will hurt the American defense market. Basically, this whole process of the USA. That give money to Ukraine and spend it here. Later, after giving weapons, a lot of money will come back. They want to stop this whole process by reversing engineering, and by presenting a cheaper version of the same weapons in the market. Now, after seeing all this, a question will come to your mind. Iran did this much, Russia did this much, China did so much reverse engineering. Now will we start too? Look, that train has left for us. When we had to do this, when our relations with the Western countries were not so good. In the 1960s and 70s, India had the option to do all this. If the Western countries were also upset at that time that their intellectual property rights are being violated and India is copying, then we would have tolerated their anger. Because at that time our relations with the Western countries were already very bad. Now we have signed a lot of MOUs with the USA, France, joint production, joint manufacturing. So now the train of reverse engineering for us has left. Now if we go and reverse engineer a US F-16, F-18 fighter jet, then it will not be so much of a benefit. Our strong relations with the USA will be damaged. It would be better to do joint defense manufacturing with the USA. Talk about some transfer technology. That is still very much possible. So again, this is a very interesting development. And Russia has literally found an opportunity in a crisis. Now let's come back to the question. That India has recently signed a memorandum of understanding with which country regarding semiconductor supply chain? So the right answer is USA. So you can see MOUs are being signed, agreements are being signed. India is on a different path. The rest of Russia, China, Iran will meet you on a different path. So remember, this is very important news. Any exam may have related questions.